Hello, I'm Philip Sneller. Welcome to Window on the Word. Today we come to the final chapter in the book of Exodus, chapter 40. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. And you shall put there the ark of the testimony, and you shall screen the ark with the curtain. And you shall bring in the table and set its arrangements in order, and you shall bring in the lampstand and set up its lamps. And you shall put the gold altar for incense before the ark of the testimony, and you shall set up the screen at the entrance of the tabernacle. And you shall set the altar of the burnt offering before the entrance of the tent of meeting, and you shall set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. And you shall set up the court all around, and put up the screen at the gate of the court. And you shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is in it, and all its utensils shall be holy. And you shall anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all its utensils, and you shall consecrate the altar, then the altar will be most holy. And you shall anoint the basin and its pedestals, and consecrate it. And you shall bring Aaron and his sons near to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and you shall wash them with water. And you shall clothe Aaron with the holy garments, and you shall anoint him and consecrate him, so he may serve me as priest. And you shall bring his sons and clothe them with tunics, and you shall anoint them just as you anointed their father, so they may serve me as priests. And their anointing shall be for an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. And Moses did all that the Lord had commanded him. So he did. So it came about in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was set up. And Moses erected the tabernacle, and he set its bases, and put up its boards, and he set its bars, and set up its pillars, and he spread the tent over the tabernacle, and put up the covering of the tent over it, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he took the testimony, and put it in the ark. And he put the poles on the ark, and he put the atonement cover on the ark above it. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and he set up the curtain of the screening, and he screened the ark of the testimony, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the table in the tent of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the curtain. And he set on it an arrangement of the bread of the presence, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the lampstand in the tent of meeting, opposite the table, on the south side of the tabernacle, and he set up the lamps before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the gold altar in the tent of meeting before the curtain. And he burned fragrant incense on it, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put up the screen for the opening of the tabernacle. And he set the altar of burnt offering at the entrance of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and he offered upon it the burnt offering and the grain offering, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and he put water in it for washing, and from it Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet. When they entered the tent of meeting, and when they approached the altar, they washed themselves, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he set up the court around the tabernacle and the altar, and he put the screen at the gate of the court. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting, because the cloud settled down over it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel set out on all their journeys. And if the cloud was not lifted up, then they did not set out until the day it was taken up. because the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel, in all their journeys. Thank you for listening. To God be the glory.